don't know how you say that. But here's the Fractured Calm. 4 mana for a 3/3 spirit. At the beginning of your end step, goad each creature your opponents control that's enchanted by an aura you control. Put a 1/1 counter on Kaima Fractured Calm for each creature goaded this way. Goad is a wonderful multiplayer mechanic, isn't it? You know, the ability to sort of manipulate your opponent's creatures, say, right, okay, you have to attack now. It really pushes the game forward and allows you to really manipulate people, and that's always good fun, although rather mean. But that's what's cool about this commander. It's something that green-red isn't particularly known for. So doing this in green-red, it's pretty goddamn cool. That reminds me, do you know what else is quite cool? Hey, this YouTube channel. Hey, please subscribe. I'm going to be making videos like this for every single legendary creature, so come and join me on the journey. Now, without further ado, let's have a look at my top 5 for this brand new Spirity boy. And in at number 5, well, what have we got? We've got Vow of Wilderness and various ways to sort of make your opponents attack that are auras. And, you know, our commander will die, so having this sort of inbuilt ability is really powerful. 3 mana aura enchant creature. Enchantress creature gets +3/+3, has trample, and can't attack you or a planeswalker you control. So we want to put this on our opponent's creatures, but the fact that they get +3/+3 and trample, if we've built up our commander big enough, you know, with all the goaded creatures and stuff like that, well, we can attack with our commander, and it has trample, which I think is very, very powerful and quite underrated. You want to not sort of focus completely on putting them on your opponent's creatures, because putting them on your commander could win you the game. So similarly, there's Vow of Lightning, 3 mana aura enchant creature. It gets +2/+2, has first strike, and can't attack you or planeswalker you control. So not only is the creature going to be goaded, well, they just can't attack you anyway, even if the goading goes away. So really, really powerful effect. Similarly, the Shiny Impetus. 3 mana aura enchanted creature. It gets +2/+2 and is goaded. So if a commander dies, who cares? Whenever enchanted creature attacks, you create a treasure token, so a nice bit of ramp. This is wonderful. Maybe you want to put this on an evasive creature, so that, you know, something that's unblockable. Our opponents, they keep swinging with it. We keep getting tokens. Really, really nice. Exactly what you want to do. Then there's Predatory Impetus. It's 5 mana for an aura enchant creature. Enchanted creature gets +3/+3, must be blocked if able, and is goaded. So this just forces your opponents into a sticky situation. You can use this as a removal spell, and maybe if you rebuy it, you can keep killing off different creatures. Really, really awesome card. Which brings me on to number 4. And at number 4, what do we have? We've got Tangarth, First Mate. And, you know, we've talked about a couple of auras there that force to attack, goad creatures. Well, let's do it with other sort of creatures and abilities. 4 mana 5/5 Minotaur Warrior. Its first mate can't be blocked by more than one creature, so it's a 5/5 that's going to be smashing in, and if they have a bigger creature, yes, it can kill it. But more than likely, a lot of people play sort of smaller creatures, at least in the early game. Whenever an opponent attacks with 1 or more creatures, if Tangarth is tapped, you may have that opponent gain control of Tangarth until end of combat. If you do choose a player or planeswalker that opponent is attacking, Tangarth is attacking that player or planeswalker. So great, just moving things around, forcing a lot of combat. And that's what Gruul is sort of good at, combat. So let's force our opponents to engage in it. And, you know, a lot of people, they'll sit back and not do much. But here, we can force the issue and just get smashing. Then we've got Geode Rager, and these are a couple of more goad sort of creatures. 6 mana 4/3 first strike landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, goad each creature target player controls. So we're forcing combat upon someone. You know, if they've built up a big army, but they want to, you know, get it bigger, well, you know, force them to attack, and maybe they'll lose out on some creatures that they need for their game plan. It's really, really good. Then Disruptor Quorum, just massive goad-centered card. 4 mana sorcery, goad all creatures you don't control, so everyone's going to be swinging at everyone else, and you'll just be sitting there going, well, come on guys, let's all be friends. But really, it was all you. It was entirely your fault this is happening. Wonderful card, sadly quite expensive, but I'd recommend getting a copy. Avatar of Slaughter, 8 mana, 8/8, speaking of expensive, at least in mana wise. All creatures have double strike and attack each turn if able. Now, they can attack you, but make sure you're setting this up. You've got some goad creatures, or you forced some goad on people, so you're not getting attacked with most of it. But this ends games. It's an 8/8 double striker. Pretty amazing. It's a wonderful, wonderful card. It just creates chaos. Then there's Insurrection, in case you want to win the game. I've often thought about it, but never gone too far. 8 mana, sorcery, untap all creatures and gain control of them until end of turn. They gain haste until end of turn. So everyone's goaded, they're attacking each other, everything's tapped. Well, let's steal them all, untap them, and just swing at them when they've not got any blockers and win the game. I've heard winning's all right. I've never done it. I really have never actually won a game. But Frenzied Saddlebrute is another forced attack sort of creature, or, incentivizes that game style. 5 mana Orc Warrior with haste. All creatures can attack your opponents and planeswalkers your opponents control as though those creatures had haste. So whenever something comes in, well, you can attack them. Why wouldn't you? This is where you've got to use your sort of political leanings. You've got to say, look, you can attack them. I mean, you may as well. Go on, it's fun, isn't it? Goading forces them to do it, but, a bit of friendly banter can force them to do it as well. Then there's Angel's Trumpet. 3 mana artifact. Attacking does not cause creatures to tap. At the end of each player's turn, tap all untapped creatures he or she controls that did not attack this turn. Angel's Trumpet deals 1 damage to that player for each creature tapped this way. So it incentivizes attacking because creatures don't tap. And if you don't attack, well, you're going to be taking some damage. So you may as well do it. So go on, get to it. Go on, attack. If you want to attack me, well, you goaded, you can't. Win. And that brings me on to number 3. At number 3, well, what have we got? We've got Eidolon of Blossoms. 4 mana Spirit, 2/2 with Constellation. And we're going to be putting a lot of enchantments into place. So these sort of cards are phenomenal. Whenever Eidolon of Blossoms or another enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, draw a card. So Enchantress is amazing, especially with some of the cards we're going to be talking about in a minute, which really, really work well with this. Because you're putting an aura onto a creature. If they die, the aura goes to the graveyard. Well, stick around and we'll see how we can manipulate that. Ogothian Enchantress is another great version of this. 2 mana 0/1 with Shroud. Whenever you cast an enchantment spell, draw a card. Pretty good. Pretty goddamn good. Vidurian Enchantress. 3 mana 0/2 Human Druid. Whenever you play an enchantment spell, you may draw a card. Remember, that is a may. You can miss that. Don't miss it. Just don't miss it. You want your cards, don't you? Yeah, I want your cards, so you should want them as well. Then there's Enchantress's Presence, which is an enchantment, so it triggers all of our other Enchantress. It is, and 3 mana enchantment. Whenever you cast an enchantment spell, draw a card. Hey, it's not a may. You have to do it. Draw those cards. Then Setessan Champion. 3 mana 1/3 Human Warrior Constellation. Whenever an enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, put a 1/1 counter on it and draw a card. Hey, draw cards, draw cards, draw cards. It's shocking how good drawing cards and how good it feels. So I'd fully recommend playing the entire suite of Enchantresses. And then I'd also play some cards like Frog Tongue, a card that you would never really see. I mean, the artwork is phenomenal. Look at that poor little pixie fairy thing. It's so cartoonish. It looks amazing. 1 green for enchant creature. When it comes to play, draw a card. So it's having that Enchantress effect. And it's one of those enchantments that we don't mind throwing away. If the creature enchants dies, who cares? Enchanted creature can block creatures with flying. It gives it reach. But the main thing we want to be doing this for is forcing our opponents to attack with the, commander thing. What is it called? Oh, God, what's it called? Goad. That's what it is. Christ, my mind went to mush. But this is amazing, and it draws you cards. It digs through your deck. Similarly, we've got Rune of Speed. 2 mana for an Aura Rune. Enchant permanent. So if there's no creatures to enchant, we can still cycle this. Because when it enters the battlefield, draw a card. Cycling, best mechanic ever. As long as enchanted permanent is a creature, it gets +1/+0 and has haste. So your opponents have literally no excuse for not attacking. As long as enchanted permanent is an equipment, the equipped creature gets +1/+0 and has haste. Not that bothered about that. It's just a nice cantrip that you'd put in the deck to make sure you're getting through the draws. And that takes me on to number 2. Now, those are all enchantments that, you might want to recast, with the draw a card or with our Enchantress on the field. So let's play a card called Obelisk of Undoing. 1 mana for an artifact. Okay, that's okay. I mean, 6 mana and tap, so quite expensive. Return target permanent you own and control to your hand. Now, the auras that we're putting on our opponent's creatures are permanents that we own and control. Yes, they're on something else, but we control them, we own them. So what we can do is we can enchant something, then they go to combat attack. You can do this in instant speed. So after they've attacked, a bad block is coming. We can see the creature's going to die. We return that aura back to our hand for 6 mana. It's not great, but it fits so perfectly in the theme of this deck. Similarly, there's invasive species, and we can't really do this at instant speed unless we've got some flash enablers. And there are quite a lot in green, so you could go down that route. 3 mana, 3/3 insect. When it enters the battlefield, return another permanent you control to its owner's hand. So usually you'd be going, oh, it's got to be a land. But we want an aura back to our hand so we can goad something else. So it's a great use of this card. And, we got a 3 mana, 3/3 out of the deal. Not too, well, all right, it's not great, but it's not the worst thing that's ever happened. Then we got Rothalo's Gift. 1 green for a sorcerer. Reveal any number of green cards from your hand. Return an enchantment card from your graveyard to your hand for each card revealed this way. So if we've got a handful of stuff, I don't really care if my opponents see it. It's only casual, isn't it, Commander? Well, we can have a look at all of them, and then we can return tons of enchantments back to our hand, and then we can redeploy them all for a single green. That is pretty goddamn good. There's a lot of value right there, especially if we've got an Enchantress on the field. Then this is a card I'd never seen before. Natural Emergence. 4 mana for an enchantment. When it comes into play, return a red or green enchantment you control to its owner's hand. So all of those auras, well, get them back to our hand so we can redeploy them. Then, land you control are 2/2 creatures with first strike. They're still lands. Okay, that can go very, very badly wrong. But if we've built, we're playing green, so we'll have a lot of green ramp. We can use that as a big alpha strike. Or what you can use this as is when it comes in, it's any red or green enchantment, so it can return itself. So if you've got an Enchantress on the field, 4 mana, draw a card, 4 mana, draw a card, 4 mana, draw a card. So it's a really cool card that I'd never seen before, and I think it fits well in this deck. Then, speaking of getting things back from the graveyard, Dousing Shaman is a card that's very expensive, but it works and fits in the deck. 5 mana for a 3/4. Pay 3 and tap. Return target enchantment card from your graveyard to your hand. Rebuys that and you can redeploy that enchantment. Really, really nice, because the enchanted creatures are going to die. They're going to go to the graveyard. And now here we've got some auras that give sort of effects. So we can put these on our own creatures and then bounce it back to redeploy it onto something else. Hydra's Growth, 3 mana aura. Enchanted creature enters the battlefield. Puts a 1/1 counter on your enchanted creature. At the beginning of your upkeep, double the number of 1/1 counters on enchanted creature. If we put that on our commander, because our commander gets a 1/1 counter every time something attacks, well, it's going to be ridiculous. Our commander will just skyrocket up into the upper echelons, won't it? And then finally, we got the Shape of the Wittigu. 6 mana, aura, enchant creature. When Shape of the Wittigu comes into play, it puts 6 1/1 counters on enchanted creature. Perfect for putting lots of counters on our commander. At the beginning of your upkeep, put a 1/1 counter on enchanted creature if it attacked or blocked since last upkeep. Otherwise, remove a 1/1 counter. So if our commander's swinging in for tons of damage, our commander will get bigger and bigger. Or, if we put it on an opponent's creature, we give them 6 1/1 counters. But that is growing them, and then it gets smaller and smaller if it didn't attack. Really awesome card, and the artwork is amazing, which takes me on to number 1. And at number 1, we've got Crown of Flames. 1 red for an enchant creature. Can pay a red, enchanted creature gets +1/+0 until end of turn. Pay a red, return Crown of Flames to its owner's hand. So similar to the sort of Obelisk of Undoing, this is an aura that we can just put on a creature. They attack in. Oh, it's going to die. Let's return it back. We can redeploy it onto something else. So much value, and that's going to draw us a card from all of our Enchantresses. And look at that artwork. His head's exploding. Amazing. And then we've got a couple of other versions of this. G2 Fire Breathing 2 mana Flash Aura, so we can redeploy it that same turn. Pay a red, enchanted creature gets +1 so. And pay a red, return it to its owner's hand. Really nice. Rebuy it, redeploy it. Then there's Genju of the Spires, 1 red for an aura. Enchant Mountain. So we can put this on our own mountain, and you can pay 2. Enchanted Mountain becomes a 6/1 red spirit creature to come in on turn. It's still land. Or if you're playing against your opponents who have mountains, put it on theirs, activate it, and then it is a creature that has an aura on it. So it's goaded. So you can use this as, well, land destruction, because when Enchanted Mountain is put into a graveyard, you may return Genju of the Spires from your graveyard to your hand. So you can pay a red, redeploy it. This is fantastic. There's a green version which makes it into a 4/4 Genju of the Realms, I think it is. I can't remember off the top of my head. But this is fantastic. It's a 6/1. Our opponents have to attack. If they get chump block, they've lost a land. Wonderful. Wonderful card. It works perfectly. And then there's Whipped Silk. 1 green for an enchant creature. Enchanted creature may block as though it had flying. And you pay a green, return Whipped Silk from its owner's hand. It doesn't do much, but in this deck, it's amazing because we can constantly redeploy it and draw cards from our Enchantresses. Then there's Rancor, a classic, 1 green for an aura. Enchanted creature gets +2 so and has trample. When it's put into a graveyard from the battlefield, return Rancor to its owner's hand. So it comes back, we can do it again. Giving +2 so and trample is really good, especially if you put it on, well, I don't know, Blightsteel Colossus, something like that. So it's a 13 trampler. It's already got trample. But, you know, something like that just turns a big threat into an even bigger threat. Then let's have a look at some interesting enchantments. Broken Fall, 3 mana enchantment, return it to its owner's hand as the cost. So that means that no one can destroy this, because if they target it, you return it back. And usually what happens is you activate the ability to return something back, then your opponent in response destroys it. They don't have chance to do that because the cost is putting it back into your hand, so it's already gone. And you can regenerate target creatures, so excellent against board wipes. And you can just replay it to draw a card. Then we got Freyalise's Charm, double green enchantment, green, when an opponent successfully casts a black spell, draw a card. Use this ability only once each time a black spell is cast. Now, mono black, you know, black strategies are one of the biggest sort of things in Magic. You know, black's a very popular colour. So you're always going to be drawing cards, and you can pay a double green to return Freyalise's Charm to its owner's hand. Really, really awesome. It's really good, isn't it? And those are my top 5 cards for this brand new commander. Really, really cool and very powerful. Lots of different interesting things you can do. That Genju of the Spires or whatever it was. I just love that bit of technology. Who doesn't love blowing up lands? Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you've enjoyed this, and I'll see you soon. Bye.